Alright guys, so recently Osamason dropped his highly anticipated, not really, but kind of like grail among fans on all platforms. It's called Demon Home. The reason why this was dropped was because the song actually leaked, against his will. And we already spoke about how that kind of like quote unquote ruined things for him and probably just ruined his mood. And he took out Psychotic 3 or Psychotic from his buyout, etc. But there have been some recent developments, and it's that Osamason might, I'm not even gonna say might, but is basically beefing with his label over what's actually being dropped. Now, let me just give you some context. This isn't the first time Osamason has dropped like some highly anticipated leaks on all platforms. They actually dropped this EP called the Grails EP on Spotify. I'm gonna show you a picture. Has Lil O the Impaler, Slime You Out, and Horses. These are just like some SoundCloud drops. But anyways, what fans noticed is that it was put out by Atlantic Records. However, Osamason didn't really like promote anything. He didn't like post it, and then he also said, hey, I didn't drop, which had a lot of fans confused. So the conclusion everyone came to is, oh, okay, so like some fans uploaded this themselves and they just like changed some of like the settings and just made it look like it was put out by Osama's label. And we're like, okay, cool. But if you go on Osama's Spotify right now, these songs are still there. So it definitely was put out by the label. And the thing is, it actually kind of makes some sense because Lil O the Impaler is like one of his biggest songs on SoundCloud. So like if you look at his top songs on Spotify, it's his third biggest song. So it wasn't a horrible move. But anyways, Demon Home was also put out and it looks exactly the same. But it looks like Osamason is making it more clear that he didn't want it out, all right? But there's actually more lore to this, and it has to do with Bullymon, which is kind of funny. He ain't dropped shit, the label did. And what really confirmed that the label dropped this against Osamason's will was when Osama posted his story, I didn't drop shit. Anyways, let's see some of the fan reaction. Bullymon, hashtag Bullymon was right. The cover art is actually scary, I can't lie. Labels, trash. Should I quit music and sell grilled cheese? If you're watching this, yeah, I think you should do it. There's actually a net spend grilled cheese at Summer Smash, by the way. I wanted to say that, I thought it was funny. Someone said labels are genuinely so ass and so good at the same time. Osama can never catch a break. LMAO, I literally called it. I saw this on Spotify yesterday and I was like, I'm 99% sure Lil O didn't drop this himself. So anyways, I'm gonna go into like him beefing with his label and everything and what that I guess kind of means for him. But also the Bullymon situation. So if you didn't know, Osamason's label took down like a couple of Bullymon collab tapes and I think some more like singles and just music out with other like Slime Crew producers that were on all DSPs. And I'm sure like they were actually making some money off this because Osamason is by far the biggest artist in Slime Crew. And I'm sure he was like, yeah, sure, go ahead, just put it out, just showing love because they've been working together forever. But anyways, when they got striked, Bullymon specifically like went off, like he went crazy. And like I'm not even gonna like go over what he said exactly, but he basically said F labels, F the label, it's like trying to steal all my money. He said some shit about Jewish people, you know what I mean? So I'm not even gonna go there, but yeah, he definitely crashed out. So that's why everyone was like, oh, Bullymon was right. I also just thought it was funny because it's like, I don't know if y'all remember Margella, but like Margella and Bullymon both ended up being crash outs, and it's like, I just feel like both of their careers would have been further by now if they just, because Bullymon has like crazy like meme appeal, if that makes sense, like on TikTok, on Twitter, on Instagram. I don't know, just his name is funny too. I like the style of beats. But anyways, back to the topic. Another like pointer or just signal that Osamason wasn't messing with what his label did was he didn't perform it at Summer Smash. Bro didn't even perform it at Summer Smash. He also hasn't promoted that either. Domkowski said he not making them enough money, just like Grails then, weird label. So this why he didn't perform it. Yep. So yeah, basically, now here's the thing. I feel like most fans actually enjoyed these drops. Like Demon Home, that was a grail for most fans. It got leaked. Would have had no hype if it released months later. They dropped it. And even those grails, like those are really popular songs on SoundCloud. It makes sense why they would want to release them. And I feel like most fans, like even these fans who are saying like, because here's the thing, a lot of fans just enjoy the music. They don't really care about the artists themselves. So those fans are just gonna be like, whatever, this is great. Most of those fans too won't even know that Osamason is really beefing with his label because he's not saying anything outright. He's just ignoring it and like giving subtle signs, you know what I mean? Which is why it took this long for it to be like confirmed, if that makes sense. On the other hand, this makes like, I guess it like rallies his community together, like damn, the label. But I feel like even those people are gonna be streaming this stuff on Spotify, you know what I mean? Like I think like Demon Home is definitely gonna become one of his biggest singles. Now here's the other thing. Osamason is previewing his next tape, or not previewing, like he's begun the rollout for his next album, Psych Out, which I don't know, maybe that's not even the name of the album anymore. honestly, it would be smart to change it almost like on like some Cardi where you start off saying one thing and then you switch it to another, and then fans remember that period of time as like a certain era, and they like have nostalgia over it, and they like, you know, they romanticize it, like, oh my god, like the Psych Out era, only if Psych Out V1 dropped, you know what I mean? Like, you know how fans do that. That would be smart. But at the same time, like, if you think about it, Jump Out dropped beginning of this year, and Flex Music dropped like end of 2023, and they did like a deluxe. There was no way Osamason was gonna drop anything anytime soon. He honestly just needs some like strong singles to keep him going, and Demon Home isn't bad. Obviously, if he's not rocking with it, he's not rocking with it, but that's just my like unbiased take on the whole situation, if that makes sense. But yeah, anyways, hopefully he resolves the situation with his label, and you know, he can keep dropping music that he actually wants to. But anyways, peace, take care, bye.